When we talk about toxic people and narcissists that cheat on you, there are so many different reasons. Like the list could go on, and I'm not going to be able to touch on all of them. Sometimes when a narcissist is cheating on you, it's because of the high. Like it's because of the excitement of being able to get away from it. Like, have you ever thought of like just when you watch a movie where there is someone who's trying to get away with something, like the guys are trying to get away with a bank heist, or people are on like this car chase. And it's like, are they going to get away? Are they not going to get away? There's a high there. There's like an adrenaline rush. And you're going to see this a lot of times with narcissists. You're going to see this a lot of times with just cheaters in general. Of like, can I actually get away with this? Can I actually manipulate this person to think that I'm still being faithful and still do something else? And still get involved with someone else? And still do something that I want to do? You're going to see this happen in these type of relationships where the narcissist is like very infatuated with this high. Now, you also have the piece of the narcissist being infatuated with admiration, attention, this love, this supply from another person. And typically, this supply is getting a reaction or response from anybody. Like, it doesn't really matter what the reaction response is. It just matters that there is a reaction. There's something that happens. Put something out, I get something back. That's the whole idea, but it's all centered around what the narcissist gets. So that's why he's selective of what he actually does. So you have this back and forth of like, hey, maybe if I do this, then I'll get the attention. Now, the narcissist oftentimes is going to twist it in his mind to make himself feel like he's the victim. Well, my wife won't give me sex, so I need to go find someone else to give me sex. Well, the problem is they normally have a skewed view of reality. So like, yeah, your wife isn't going to give you sex because you're a coward and because you actually don't show up emotionally and you don't create a safe environment for your wife. So what do you freaking expect? So you need to understand a lot of times a narcissist will switch it in his mind, being like, oh, I'm the victim, so let me go find someone. And so then he goes find someone, and he's like, oh, this person makes me feel so amazing. This person actually gets me. They actually understand, because he's playing himself the victim. The problem is it still infiltrates into the next relationship. Even if it's cheating, even if it's moved on to the next person, it still infiltrates into that because he hasn't transformed. He's just changed and he's just modified of like, oh, this person doesn't get it. Let me go this person. They get me. All of a sudden they don't get you because you're only willing to go shallow. You're not willing to go deep in the relationship of how you actually show up emotionally. So it continues. The cycle continues over and over and over again. So you need to understand, sometimes narcissists are doing this because of the high. Sometimes narcissists are doing this because they want this attention. They want this supply. Oftentimes this attention and supply seeking leads to multiple affairs at the same time, or multiple communication at the same time. Now, whether it's just affairs, whether it's just like this emotional cheating of going back and forth and like texting a bunch of different people everywhere, narcissists are going to keep doing this. Oftentimes because they want to get away with it. It's cool, it's fun, it's exciting for the narcissist. Or it's like this idea of like, hey, I need more supply. That person's not texting me and this person's not texting me. Oh no, insecure, what do I do? Let me text someone else, okay? There was this piece inside of especially like college where I would be going through where I didn't have someone that was like interacting with me, texting me, anything like this. So I would like shoot a message to someone else. It's like when I really thought of it, it wasn't something that I was like, oh, I actually want to talk to this person. It just felt good. It felt good to have a communication. It felt good to have some information back and forth. It felt good to have someone paying attention to me, responding to me. Oh, they didn't respond fast enough. Like, what, do they not care about me more? Like, there's all these crazy thoughts that kind of go through a narcissist's head, being like, oh, like, now they're off cheating on me. Now they're off doing something. And you might be with them, you might be not. There's so many different stories. Like, I can't even sum everything up because we're just, like, going through this. Okay, but narcissists oftentimes cheat because of a high. They cheat because of the piece of, like, oh, I want to be able to get this supply from other people. They cheat oftentimes with this supply of other people of doing it multiple people, multiple different ways so they don't get bored. You need to understand, like, narcissist cheating doesn't have anything to do with you. You're like, wait a second, he told me it was all my fault. Yeah, he's going to tell you that because he doesn't want to own up to the fact that he's a coward and he didn't actually communicate with you to start off with. Instead, he went out and found another woman that didn't understand him, didn't know him, and he was able to convince his sob story that he's a victim in this relationship because you haven't given him what he wants. And so he's always going to switch it around. He's always going to put it back on you. And until you see that, until you realize that, you'll be stuck in that frame, thinking that it's all your fault, thinking that there's nothing you could have done, thinking that it is all you, when in reality it has nothing to do with you. The narcissist does what he wants to do no matter what. The toxic person is focused on, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to get, regardless of who I run over, who I hurt, or who, like the fallout of this, it doesn't even matter. I'm only focused on what I want in the moment. So I'm going to get it regardless if that hurts you, regardless if that destroys you, doesn't really matter. It's just what I want. So you need to understand the narcissist is only focused on that. So cheating means, hey, I just need to find someone that's going to give me what I want. That person doesn't do it anymore, set them to the side, next one. That person, set them to the side, next one. And this happens over and over and over. This is why narcissists typically have a list of people. of people that they can call up, of people they can interact with, old exes that they haven't closed doors with because they don't want to close the doors. Because if they leave the door open, they can still come back. They can still text them. They can still ping them. They can still meet up. They can still hook up. They can still do all these different things because they still have this unlimited leash of supply. Did you have the toxic person in your life that wouldn't close it off with his ex or exes? Instead, he was like, oh, everybody's friends with their ex. Now, sometimes that works in healthy relationships. The problem is a toxic person, it will always keep that door open for him to be able to control, manipulate, or be back with the other person. And you're like, no, he wouldn't do that. How is he treating you? Because if you're not treating you with honor, dignity, respect, how do you think he's going to do that to the next person? How do you think he's going to do that to people in the past? How do you think he's going to continue to do this cycle over and over? Now, sometimes people are like, well, once a cheater, always a cheater. And a lot of times you will see that happen because there's not this awakening moment. Now, I've talked about this from change versus transformation. It only is going to happen with this moment of truth and a continuous of, I have to go through truth every single day to be grounded in who I am. Otherwise, it's so easy to revert back. It's so easy to become the man that I used to be. So understanding that, hey, if this is actually going to actually change, actually transform from a cheater to a non-cheater, there has to be a huge aspect of accountability and truth that's happening on all levels. Not on this level of like, oh yeah, I cheated, I'm sorry, push that to the side and does it again. So there has to be something that's different, deeper, bigger inside that is showing up every single day, regardless if you're with the toxic person or not, that he's actually willing to do the work on himself. You can't change this, you can't force this, you can't make him do it. So if he's telling you that he loves you and he's cheating on you, that's a bunch of bullshit. And you need to leave. Because this person doesn't care about you, doesn't care about himself, his integrity, his honesty, any of that. And so you're going to see this is going to continue to happen because he knows he can keep you in this relationship. He can keep having his cake and eat it too. And he'll continue to cheat on you because you're staying because he keeps telling you that he cares about you. Does he actually? If you're struggling with this, go to rawmotivations.com today.